This is problem number 11 from the June 2016 Algebra Regents exam. This question, we're looking for the range of the function f of x equals x squared plus 2x minus 8. So this is a bit of a tricky one, but there is a good technique to use for a question like this. And the idea is to find out the x-intercepts, or the zeros, and then the x value between those two numbers will help us find the range. So I'll show you what I mean. So our equation is, or our function is x squared plus 2x minus 8. And in order to find our x-intercepts, or our zeros, we're going to factor it. So I like to start by drawing my two sets of brackets with my x's at the front. And then we're looking for two numbers that multiply to get negative 8, but have a difference, or they add to get positive 2. So I know to get negative 8, we could do 4 times 2, but one of them would have to be negative. And because when they're added together, we want to get positive 2, that would mean that 2 is negative, because 4 plus negative 2 would get us positive 2. So that means one is going to be plus 4, the other one will be minus 2. Now this is our factored form. We set it equal to 0, and that means if we were to solve this, we would get that x has to equal 2, and x equals negative 4. So let's try to visualize what this would look like if we were to graph it. So x equals 2 might be around here, and x equals negative 4 would be over here. Now because this is a quadratic equation, because we have x squared, it's going to look like a parabola that opens up or down, like a happy face or a sad face. Another good trick is to notice that because the x squared term is positive, we know that when we graph the function, it's going to be opening upwards. In other words, it's going to be looking more like a happy face. If it was negative x squared, then it would be opening downwards. Because we know that, basically our graph is going to look something along those lines. And then the cool thing is to notice that halfway between these two is our smallest y value, and that's going to help us find the range, right? So to find this y value, we need to know the x value, and it's going to be halfway between negative 4 and positive 2. And halfway between those is negative 1. So when x equals negative 1, we need to find out what the y value is. And we can do that by replacing x in the original equation with negative 1. So x squared will be negative 1 squared plus 2 times x, which is negative 1, minus 8. And if we calculate that out, we get 1 minus 2, which is negative 1, and then negative 1 minus 8 is negative 9. So that's our y value. When x equals negative 1, y equals negative 9. So that's our smallest possible y value. And that means our range says that y is going to have to be greater than or equal to negative 9. And that's option number 2 in the list of answers. So if that was helpful, thanks for visiting JD's Regents Preparation.